like, just calm down, folks. Just calm down.
Oh, well, something happened to Dad's camera equipment. Let's see what's going on, but I guess I'm doing this solo for right now. But we're here for another episode of the Best Boys Podcast and Rice podcast. You know the drill, Dad and I, father-son duo. We do this every week. Um, Kind of all over the place for the first few weeks, just due to scheduling conflicts, things going on. But we're here to talk about this third week of the NHL season. But before we get into it, I'll do my best on this part since this is normally Dad's territory. We want to thank all of our supporters and help, such as Shamai Reed, I Am Refocused Radio Network, who they take our show and repost it on their radio network every time we go on. So it's a big help to us to get more viewership, more attention on a broader network that has many other great radio shows on it. We also want to take the time to thank everybody who jumps into the lives, of course, and comments, gives us questions, feedback, whatever. It's helped out a lot. So we appreciate that. And again, just, feel free to jump onto our YouTube channel, the Best Boy Sunrise Podcast YouTube. We finally have the ability to live stream on there as well because of the amount of subscriptions we have. So thank you to everybody who's done that. You can find the link there every time after the show's over, and we live stream directly to there, so it comes back. We are going to be able to use that more often as the season goes on, which is probably a better network for us to use when we get closer to the playoffs and do our nightly recaps, of course, when we get to April. And so yeah, we've got a pretty loaded show. Dad's think back, we're good. I did the intro stuff already, so we're all good to go with that. But we have a loaded show. There's a lot that's happened this last week. Obviously, we'll do the same kind of deal we did last week. We'll do a standings update, see where things are after week 3. We'll talk about weeks for the Penguins and Oilers, obviously, and then some stuff that's happened last week. There was a big signing today, which we'll talk about, as well as some milestones coming up here pretty shortly for a lot of the NHL's veterans. But regardless of poor connections or whatnot, we're here. We're here to stay. You can't kick us out. I already did all the intro stuff, so we're all good to go with that. So you might
Yeah,
as well
I had to switch from one camera to another for some reason. It lost connection with the camera. So
but we might as well just get this ball rolling, and we've got, I think, a fun one here with Dad. So we'll go ahead and get started talking about the Oilers, of course, and then we'll jump to Pitt, and then from there to the league, maybe our standings update right after that. But you go ahead, and the floor is yours on this one.
Okay, well, it was an interesting week for the Oilers. They're now 5-4-2, and ironically enough, this is the best October that they've had in 3 years.
I
but
know.
still just barely over 500. So,
But better than what it's been.
Better than what it's been. They went 3-1-2 in their last 5 games. They beat Ottawa on the end of that 5-game road trip, 3-2, and then they went home and played the Montreal Canadiens, a game that a lot of people didn't think the Oilers were going to win, including yours truly, because Montreal were a little bit on a heater. They're playing really good hockey. It was a typical barn burner, old style hockey. The Oilers win 6-5, and then they go on the road for 2, which is really crazy because they come home for 1 game against Montreal, and then they go on the road. They lose Saturday in Seattle 3-2. They were down 3-1, made it 3-2 in the third, just could not get that last goal to go, and they lost in Seattle 3-2, and then an overtime loss in Vancouver on Sunday 4-3. The Oilers had to climb up and get back into that game late and force it to overtime, but Vancouver got the extra point on there. And then they took on the red-hot Utah Mammoth. That's hard to think about.
I like
the
it.
First 10 games of the season or so, they're one of the top teams.
Well, they
in
were
the
they were
NHL.
coming in an 8-game winning streak that game.
Yeah, and the Oilers stopped it, and they scored 5 times in the second period, which they haven't done all year. I can't remember the last time they actually did score 5 goals in one period, but it got them to where they needed, and they beat Utah 6-3 in that game. Leon Draisaitl being Leon Draisaitl, he's got 8 goals so far this year, 13 points. Connor McDavid's got a couple of goals and 14 points. They're both starting to rev things up again. Connor is gone from what did he get that 1 year, 62 goals, to being more of a setup guy. But I've noticed in the last few games, Carson, that he's shooting more. He's got more of a shooter mentality. He did get the empty net goal against Utah, but he's got 2 goals in the year. I like Connor McDavid, the playmaker, because you just never know where he's going to pass the puck. He's got eyes all over the place. But I am glad that he's starting to shoot the puck a little bit more too, because he used to give up a lot of open opportunities for himself to pass it up off, on thinking it was going to be a better play, but it wasn't. But looks like the big guys are starting to play a little bit. News on Zach Hyman. He was hurt in the playoffs last year, and he didn't play. I don't think he played the Stanley Cup the Stanley Cup Finals. He got hurt, and he had surgery on his hand, and they said that he was going to be ready for the first weekend in November. Oh, by the way, hi, Jamie. Jamie's watching on
from
Facebook.
School. She's dedicated. She's in class.
She is dedicated. Yeah, she's good. Yeah, studying or the Best Boys podcast. I go with the Best Boys podcast. That's a good choice.
That's a good, yeah.
Hyman was expected to play, and all week I've been thinking, all right, Zach's going to be in the lineup on Saturday. Even Coach Knobloch was thinking that he was going to put Hyman in, but it's the medical team that says nope, he's still not ready to go. But according to Knobloch, he said he looked fine. He looked like he was ready to go, but the medical team have put him on week to week. So we'll have to, because I think his long-term injury reserve was over, and this was his first opportunity this weekend to play. But we'll have to wait and see Shaq Hyman for a little while yet. But once he gets going, then you got a decision to make. Who goes? Because you're not going to put Zach Hyman in the press box. So that's a decision that I'm glad I don't have to make, because there are some players out there, especially some of the new players that I'm liking a lot. And I'm seeing a lot of good things from the rookie Howard. Thomas Heck is starting to become one of my favorites, because he's in there on the power play. He's grinder. Yeah. He can shoot the puck too. But I'm starting to like him a lot. Mangiapane has been a good pickup. But I think one of my favorites, even though he's only appeared on the score sheet a few times, is Roslovic, the pickup that they got early in the season. He could be that guy that might push that offense just a little bit more. As soon as he gets his bearings down, I think he's played 5 games.
Yeah,
but I'm liking that. So who do you take?
I like Mangiapane. I really like Mangiapane.
Yeah, I think Mangiapane has been on the line with McDavid. He's been on the line with Draisaitl. You can maybe put him down on the third line as well to give a little bit of a boost to that if you need to. He's a good all-around player. He was a menace to the Oilers when he was in Calgary. So I'm liking what the Oilers have done with the new guys, but I pity the coaching staff to try to figure out who they're going to take off when Zach Hyman returns.
Probably Howard.
Yeah, yeah. It's too bad, because he's a exciting young
good,
player
but
to
it's
watch.
It's for his development.
You send him down to Bakersfield. He'll run Bakersfield. He'll get his points down there. He might even lead the team in scoring down there. So now here you go, Car. You ready?
I am.
It's time for the Stu Skinner.
The first one of.
No, I kind of touched on this on my TikTok after.
And it's crazy that we're talking about this after they won. After they won.
All right. So okay. So they beat Utah 6-3, And he came up with some good saves, but the three goals that Utah got were all on him. He should have stopped the 2 shots. One went over, one his glove side, one his blocker side. And then the third one, he went around the net, lost control of the puck, and it was an open net. So here's how I sum up the Oilers' goaltending. And, here, take this as you will. It's like taking a shower in an older home when you just got the temp that you wanted to shower. You're in there showering and somebody flushes the toilet, and either it's scalding hot or it's ice cold. That's Stu Skinner in a nutshell. He can look brilliant at times and a joke at others. And I'm saying right now, and I'm not going to be like I was a couple of years ago where I was hard on him, but no, he's okay. He got us to the Stanley Cup final. Oh, here you go again. Oh, but he got us to the Stanley Cup final. No, this is it. If the Oilers staff and the ownership, management team don't try to get a goaltender to replace him, that's going to be 3 years in a row. And to me, if they don't try to get a goalie somehow, somewhere, they're not going to win the Stanley Cup. Yeah. They are not going to win the Stanley Cup with Stu Skinner.
Why should you believe they will? The last 2 seasons, they've tried it and it hasn't worked.
And it hasn't worked. So Calvin Pickard is a keeper.
He's a good backup.
He's a good backup. When he's gone in, I feel more confident with him watching the game.
They need to try bringing Connor Ingram up, seeing what he can do.
Yes. Yeah, he got him from Utah. Bring him up, get him maybe a few more games down in Bakersfield. Bring him up and see, and then you never know. It could be the next Aiden Hill. Remember when Aiden Hill came in?
Yeah, out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere, Aiden Hill came in. I am done. I am done with Stu Skinner, and I know he's an Edmonton boy. I know he's an Edmonton boy, but I'm really fed up. And if the Oilers, they've had their shot. They had their shot the last 2 off seasons to try to get a goaltender, and they've got They could have gotten Gibson out of Anaheim. They need that. And if the management staff don't do it, they're not serious about winning the Stanley Cup. End of the rant.
I think the problem is that they think they can rely upon the heavy scoring to outweigh just mediocre goaltending. It's like they can have McDavid and co scoring 5-6 goals and they're fine letting in 3 or 4. Yeah. But when you get later on in the season, it's harder to score goals and it's harder to score goals, but as well the goal scoring talent is higher. You have so many threats. And okay, Stu has looked good the last 2 seasons when he's played Dallas in the playoffs, but then he gets to Florida and it's like game over. Like it's done. He just can't hang, and he just looks hot and cold. Like he looks like he's Vezina caliber one night, the next night he's like, what in the world does this guy do? This is a regular occurrence that he comes out of the net, he's way out of the net, and he just loses the puck, and that's it. Like it's just enough's enough. Like you can't. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over again, expecting different results. They're expecting different results with putting Stu in there, and it's just not going to happen. Like it's not. I mean, the team that most of the time the team that wins the Stanley Cup is the team that has the best goalie.
Yeah,
that season. And Stu Skinner is not the best goalie at all.
No, he is not. He is. The defense has bailed him out on a number of occasions in the last couple of years, so that's gotten better. But if you got a clear view, like the first 2 goals Utah scored, like I played goal, I could have stopped them. They were like, there was nobody in front of the net.
We'll see about that. We can put you in there.
Okay. Give me some pads. Give me gloves, stick.
Glasses,
yeah.
So you can see.
Yeah. Yeah. So nobody in front of the net. And he just, the puck goes over his shoulder. And it's like he just like late putting his shoulder, trying to.
He's like indecisive. He's indecisive about how he wants to go about stopping it.
And then the third goal was just a ridiculous one. So anyways, bye-bye, Stu. You got to go. Love you, buddy. You're an Edmonton boy, but you're never going to be more than just a good backup. Next up for the Edmonton Oilers, at home to the New York Rangers, actually tonight at 8 o'clock And then they're at home to Chicago. Connor Bedard comes to town at 9 on Saturday. And then they hit the road for a couple. Monday, they're in St. Louis against the Blues, and then 7:30. And then Tuesday, they're in Dallas to take on the Stars. So that's the week that's coming up for the Oilers. And Carson's going to tell us about the Pittsburgh Penguins, who continue to just get better and get better. They may
They're hanging
fall
around.
off and lose a game, but they're getting better and better. And
Yeah.
I really like the way that team looks. I really do.
Yep, they're hanging in there. Since we last spoke, they went 2-0-2 the last 4 games. So okay, 2 losses, but they're now points in 7 straight games. Out of the 11 games they've played, they've gotten points in 9 of them, which is very important, even as early as right now, because this is the best start that they've had since 2017 when they won the Cup last. It's very interesting to see it the way it's going, because pretty much in all these games they're the underdog every time. They go into these games and they're like, okay, the money line has them losing every time. Like tonight, for example. I don't want to jinx them, but they're playing the Minnesota Wild, who are 7th place in their division, and they're favored to lose. Minnesota's favored to win. Like every game we've played, we've pretty much been the team that's supposed to lose, and so it's cool to see the way they play. Regardless, yeah, they played 4 times since we last spoke. They played the reigning champions on Thursday in Florida. They played the Panthers, and then they came back home to play Columbus on Saturday. Played St. Louis on Monday at home, and then back to back, their first one of the season. They went to Philly on Tuesday to play the Flyers on Frozen Frenzy night. And they, again, 2-0-2. They started off really well. They played a good Florida Panthers team that has kind of had a slow start to the season. I'd mentioned that before they played that game, that Florida's kind of looked a bit not slower, but just had a harder time winning games. And the Pens just really hung in there. They absolutely got outshot, outplayed, but they won. The goaltending came in clutch for them when they needed it. Sid had a couple goals in there. Ben Kindle, the rookie, who has really surprised me, been one of my favorites. He got a goal in there. Jari played a really good game. He stopped Brad Marchand in a key point in the game to keep it going. And the flow of that game, the Pens would let up a goal and they'd score right back and increase the lead. They'd be up to 1 goal or 2 goals, then they go down to 1, then they go right back up to 2. It was perfect. They played really well. Definitely earned that win against a team that has been a bugaboo for them for the past few seasons. They just have a hard time beating Florida, and so they got that one done, which was great. And then they headed home to play Columbus, and this kind of starts a trend of some things I really am not liking so far. Is like the last few games they just haven't looked like the better team. They play Columbus on Saturday. I didn't really watch too much of that game, but regardless, the Pens lose in a shootout 5-4. They come back being down 2 goals in the last 5 minutes to tie it, to send it to overtime, which is great. You get the crucial point, but the trend continues for this team just to be awful at shootouts. They're horrible at shootouts. Like it's been Shilovs both times that they've been in them and lost, but they can't stop the puck in the shootouts, and they're really not scoring in the shootouts. It's kind of been that way for a few years. They just get to the shootout and it's almost like they kind of just do the same things over and over again. Sometimes you maybe don't need to put Sid and Gino in there and just get somebody else to try to get something going, because they kind of just do the same moves. And uh, but regardless, a huge point to be down 2 goals against a very respectable Columbus team and to tie it. Obviously, it's huge. Then they stay home on Monday and play against the St. Louis Blues, and in a game where I feel like they didn't really look that great, but they took it over in the third when it mattered. Uh, they went up. They got 2 goals in the first minute of the game, but then the Blues tied it in the first. And Parker Wotherspoon scored his first goal in Pittsburgh to take the lead there, and then they go to the third. They get another goal to go up 4-2. Then St. Louis comes back, gets one back, but then there, Sid on a neat breakaway basically gets 2 shots. He shoots it on Joel Holford. Holford stops it. Sid rebounds, score, and then Gino 20 seconds later empty net goal. In that game as well, Sid got a 1700th point, so he was at 1701 after that because he had 3 points in that game. So kudos to him to hit that milestone. But they get a big win against a hungry St. Louis team, which has not been starting very well. So very good to get those points. And then finally, again, Frozen Frenzy night, they were on the road in Philadelphia to play the Flyers, and just didn't really look like they had it that night. You could tell they were kind of tired. Played 3 games in 4 nights. You could see it. Regardless, though, same thing. Penn's down late. They tie the game. One of the weirdest overtimes probably that's ever happened since they started doing OT in the early 2000s. So you start off the game. You start off overtime, and Letang gets a breakaway, and he's hooked. Penalty. Okay, there's a delay penalty. Well, the Penguins still get the puck, and Gino scores, but he had a premature substitution, which I did not realize that was a thing. Shilovs had not gone all the way to the bench yet, and Gino had already jumped on the ice to take his spot and scored. But because of the fact that it was due to a delay penalty, are you okay over there?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out. I've never heard of that.
Yeah, so
Delay.
Shilovs was coming to the bench, but hadn't gone all the way there. Gino jumped on the ice early, so before Shilovs had really gotten to the point to the bench, and he jumped on the ice and scored. Okay, as soon as
Okay, okay, the puck was in
we had
Philadelphia
the puck.
too.
We had the puck in the offensive zone because so Letang had gotten a breakaway. He got hooked, and
Mhm.
he like the puck went off his stick and behind the net. Well, he was
Right.
able to get the puck back on the delayed penalty, so the Flyers hadn't touched it. Gino then jumped off the bench once the ref raised his arm and came in the zone and scored. But he came in like he jumped off the bench way too early, and as soon as he touched the puck, the whistle blew, but he had blown it by the goalie
Hmm.
already. Well, because of that, there wasn't a delay. There wasn't a penalty for too many men because it was off of a delayed penalty. They simply just blew the play dead because he substituted too early. So they took the goal away. Okay, Pens get a power play. They don't score. The Flyers then get a power play right after that, and they score. But then it's offside. So both teams have scored a goal that gets wiped away. Lengthy review on that one, but they take it back. But then the Flyers win in the shootout. And that ends the week for the Pens 2-0-2. And after 11 games, they are 7-2-2 in second place in the Metro and in the league right now.
Yeah.
So, okay. I'm very happy with those games to get the points because those are going to add up at the end of the season. They've also uh, won every game they've won has been in regulation. So the regulation win tiebreaker is huge at the end of the season, of course. So they're off to a good start. But points 9 out of 11, I definitely wasn't expecting that, but I'm not going to complain. They're getting contributions across the board. Brazo's already got 12 points this season when his career high is in the 20s. For an entire season, he's already halfway there. Gino's third in the league in scoring right now. He's got 16 points. Sid's doing Sid things. He's at he's at 15 points right now. Even the young guns, Kindle, like I mentioned, he's looked really good. Brunick's looked good. Uh, Shilovs has looked amazing. Other than the shootouts, he has looked phenomenal. He to me looks like the guy, but they're still doing the rotation where it's him, then Jari, and I'm fine with them doing that because it's working. Each guy's getting their shot and they're getting rest, and I'm not going to complain.
Mhm.
But I'm expecting a little bit of a fallback at some point, but you're hoping that it's not that dramatic, where maybe they lose one or two and then they come back and win a few more. Regardless, though, very good start. We got to keep building on it. So now they play. Imagine 3 games now before we come on next. I imagine they play here in about 10 minutes against the Wild in Minnesota. Then early game on Saturday at 2 p.m. in Winnipeg against the Jets, and then finally they uh, head to Toronto to play a Leafs team that has kind of looked like they're struggling a little bit. Regardless, 3 very winnable games. I would be very happy with 4 points out of this, just because it's still a very daunting schedule of 3 games. But it starts tonight. They got to play. They got to play full 60. If they've been playing not as great the last week and still getting all these points, if they just play that extra 5-10% better, they'll be off to a good start. They're doing really well special teams wise on the power play. Penalty kill can use work, but they're one of the better scoring teams in the league. I think they have the most goals right now, which is amazing. They're playing tonight against a Minnesota team who has the worst power or worst penalty kill and best power play. Kind of weird
Yeah.
that's how that's going, but they're I'm hoping for a big ton of goals. They've been scoring a lot of goals all across the board. Mantha's looked really good. He's nearly at a point per game. Brazo's amazing. Sid's line. The only kind of setback now is Ricard Raquel's out for 6 to 8 weeks, which sucks. He broke his hand blocking a shot against the Jackets. So for him, unfortunately, that means he won't be taking part in the international series that are playing in Sweden next month, which sucks since that's where he's from, of course. But regardless, it's going to be a great week of hockey for them, and I'm excited to see what they do. But I'm very impressed, and I think if you look around, a lot of the fans and even analysts that are watching, like looking at the season so far, the Pens are the surprise team right now. Nobody expected them to be where they're at this point, and they look like they have it in them just to make a run to the playoffs here. So very exciting, of course. But now we kind of switch gears here with our recaps done to we'll do a standings update real quick and then get to the week that was, of course, and then it'll be time for Dad and I to watch our games here.
Yep.
See we can get a 4-point party on the show tonight.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Same orders last time. This is updated. I didn't update the header. That's my apologies. But this is as of the 30th. Oh, wait, maybe I didn't put the right one. Hold on, give me just a second.
Okay. Well, again, you can follow us on YouTube. We'd love for you to go over to our YouTube channel and subscribe. We've got a lot of people out there. We're able to go live on YouTube now, but we want more subscribers. And when you do watch the podcast, if you like it, make a comment and share it.
I know, and it's going to be fun when we get to the. Honestly, if it keeps going this way, it'll be fun when we get to the playoffs if somehow both our teams are in it, because
Yeah,
that hasn't happened since we've done the show.
Yeah, that would be great.
But so yeah, this is up to date as of the 30th. We'll start, I believe, in the Atlantic first. So a bit of a switch up from last time. Montreal's taken the lead in the division, 8-3-0. I think a very quietly good start. I haven't heard much noise about Montreal, but they are playing really good.
Yeah.
Jakub Dobish is 5-0 this season. They're looking really good. Detroit, same thing. They've looked pretty good. 7-3-0. Florida hanging in there, which is fine for them considering all the injuries they've got. They're 5-5-1. Ottawa hanging in there again. They're down Brady Tkachuk still 5-5-1. Toronto's floundering around a little bit. They're 5-5-1. Buffalo's kind of picked it up a little bit. They're 4-4-2. They've won some games lately. Tampa's still a bit lower than what they need to be, but 4-4-2. They've won some games, and Boston has just kind of sunk. They started off hot, and then they're ice cold. Now you go to the Metro. New Jersey, 8-2-0. They had an 8-game heater. They finally lost the other night, but they're against Colorado, but they've looked really good. Pittsburgh, like I mentioned, 7-2-2. Carolina, 6-3-0. Washington, 6-4-0. Columbus, 6-4-0. They picked themselves up a little bit. Phillies still hanging in, 5-3-1. The Rangers and Islanders in New York bringing up the rear. Rangers are 4-5-2. Islanders 4-4-1. The Rangers do not look very good right now. They don't look the same. They just I'm telling you, I'm sorry, but this is the Mike Sullivan philosophy. They're playing not good. They're playing slow. They're not giving the young really guns a chance. They just don't look that great.
No.
Now we go to the West. You look here at the Central. Utah's taken over the lead 8-3-0 due to an 8-game heater. Colorado 6-1-4, which is crazy to think how many times they've gone to overtime or shootouts already. Winnipeg 7-3-0. Dallas 6-3-1, so they picked themselves back up, even with some injuries. Chicago surprisingly hanging in pretty well, 5-3-2. Nashville not as much, 4-5-2. Minnesota slow start for them, 3-5-3, and lastly the St. Louis Blues 3-6-1. They just cannot keep the puck out of their own net. It's not looking good. Finally, we go to the Pacific. Vegas still hanging up at the top, 6-1-3. Seattle surprisingly up there, 5-2-0 or 5-2-3. LA's picked themselves back up from the bottom, 5-3-3. Edmonton still hanging in the middle, 5-4-2. Anaheim 5-3-1. Vancouver 5-6-0. San Jose 2-6-2, but they still look like a very exciting team. And finally, Calgary bringing up the rear, 2-8-1. That's not very good if you're a Calgary Flames fan because they really don't have much going, and I don't feel like their future's that bright either as far as gaining many assets. So yeah, it's not a good time, I feel like, to be a Calgary Flames.
It's rebuilding time down.
The only thing they really got looking forward to is their new arena they're getting in a couple of years.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the updates. I mean, I'm very not surprised, but very impressed with Utah. Obviously, I mean
Yeah.
they've looked legit. They look like a Stanley Cup contending team, and
What?
they're gonna be good for a while. That's the thing. They just locked up Logan Cooley the other day for 8 years.
Hmm.
Dylan Gunther's there for many years. They're just gonna be a very good team for a while. Like they're gonna be running the league for 5, 6, 7 years.
Yeah.
Welcome to the next Chicago or Pittsburgh era here because they look legit and I don't you know what that fan base, whether they're from Arizona or not, deserve it
Yeah.
because all the crap that happened there at the end of that, they have an ownership group who really cares and it's invested in that team, and it's great to see
Mhm.
success there. And I'm excited to hopefully watch playoff hockey in that arena this year.
Yeah.
I'm still disappointed with Tampa Bay. I mean, but they're Tampa Bay. They're going to find their way back in it. The Rangers, same thing. Like what in the world's going on in New York right now? There's not a place. Looks like that Vancouver's kind of off to a bad start. Uh, Pedersen's look awful. I mean, they just don't have it there.
Yeah.
I'm regardless of their record, I'm impressed with San Jose. They look like a fun team. They're a legit team. They're going to be good. Obviously, this year is a bit of a slow start for them, but Celebrini is one of the top scorers in the league right now. He's definitely should be on the Olympic roster. They,
I saw that they were mentioning
yeah,
him really
he,
getting a good
yeah,
push for the Olympic team.
he's better be in the Olympic roster. Uh, Boston's not much to look forward to there either. I mean, they're on the end. They're on the end, and they don't have much in their prospect pool.
Hmm.
I think Pasternak might want out soon because that team is just sinking. They're done. I mean,
Yeah.
it all has fallen apart so fast. They were on a high, beating Toronto. Oh, it should have gone far in the playoffs that year in 24, and then it just fell apart. They lost Allmark, then Barshan got traded. Pasternak's going to want out eventually. But that's my opinion, at least. Some surprises. I'm just disappointed in a lot of teams on this list for the most part.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, me too. You look at Calgary, I'm not a Calgary Flames fan by any
I didn't
means.
think they were going to be that bad. I thought they
They,
were. I mean,
they look like they were coming along here the last few
mhm,
years, and then all of a sudden this year they've just
yeah.
tanked, and
Well,
I don't know
did you see
I don't know if they're going to get
What
out.
Dustin Wolf said the other day when they lost? I don't remember who they lost to, but he said, I can't play offense. I can't put the puck in the net because they're not scoring. Like
Yeah.
he can't do everything. He's allowing 2 or 3 goals, and they just cannot buy one. They cannot buy one. And they're benching their younger guys already, like Zane Perrick, who is one of their high draft picks this last couple of years. He keeps getting scratched, and it's like, okay, you're not going to develop these guys if they're not playing. And they're putting bodies in there that are just skating around. They're not really playing for anything. The Flames are so far behind already. They've got to have a big winning streak to make something because they're way behind. I mean, they've only got 5 points in 11 games. That's not going to do it.
Not at
Uh,
all.
but going to the league, obviously there were some. I kind of went over a signing earlier. Logan Cooley just signed a few days
Mhm.
ago, and then Marty Necas today for Colorado signed an 8-year, $11.5 million deal. That to me is very interesting that they pulled that off, but they couldn't do it for Rantanen last year. That makes
Yeah.
me think, what in the world happened there with that? But regardless, there was a lot of noise that Necas wanted to leave, but apparently he doesn't. He's staying. He's looked really good. That Colorado team looks poised to make another run
Mhm.
for a Stanley Cup. So that's good for them. And tonight, for other news, Tyler Sagan's playing his 1,000th game in Tampa Bay. He's playing obviously with Dallas, 3 seasons in Boston, 13 in Dallas. Very deserving of this achievement. He has been a very solid cornerstone piece for that Dallas Stars team, and he's coming to the end of his career. But regardless,
Yeah.
he has looked. He deserves it. I mean, he's a very workhorse guy, very likable player. He plays the game the right way. Uh, they, and even now Chicago is going to have uh, Jonathan Taves coming back as he's playing his first game there now as a member of the
Mhm.
Winnipeg Jets. That's been a very cool story to watch out for. He took a lot of time off for a few years to focus on himself, build himself back up, help himself out and heal. And he came back and he's ready and he's looked pretty good. That Jets team is poised to make the playoffs and hopefully make a push. Uh, Obviously, I'm interested to see. Oh, and then another news for the Islanders today. Matt Barzell healthy scratched because he was late for morning skate, team meeting this morning, whatever you call it. I feel like the island is just they're struggling right now. I mean, they're bottom of the division.
Mhm.
Not much really. I mean, they had 3 really good draft picks this year. They're going to be a good team. It's just this is going to be a struggle season, but you cannot, as a leader of that team, be doing that because he's one of their longest tenured players. You cannot be late like that to a
No.
meeting. Very, very good on Wada. Bench him for tonight. They'll be back to playing against Washington tomorrow, but you gotta no matter who you are, if you're late, that's it. I mean, the other 20, 30 some odd guys that probably showed up this morning were there on time and you were not. So see what happens there. I I have also wanted to think about who maybe is on a coaching hot seat
Hmm.
already, or maybe players that are on a hot seat that might get booted. I mean, I Calgary just locked up Brian Huxa for 2 years, and I mean that's looking like maybe not very good. Even I don't know, I mean, I know Mike Sullivan just signed in New York, but his coaching style just doesn't work anymore.
Yeah.
Just kind of bland. It's just it
Mhm.
doesn't work. And that's growing pains. He's got to learn a new system, but you know, I don't know. I mean, I just think Ryan Huska is just. I mean, that's the big one for me. Uh, you know, Patrick Waugh, maybe. I don't know. I was
Maybe.
very surprised when they hired him in the first place
Yeah.
because when he last coached in Colorado, that did not go very well. Um, St. Louis, maybe be looking. I don't know. I mean, they just haven't been able to stop the puck. I mean, that's the game. They
Mhm.
can't keep the puck out of the net. Boston just got Marco Sturm, and they are not off to a good start. Even Tampa Bay, John Cooper just inked an extension, but you'll see what happens for the Bolts here in the next 10, 15 games because they got to pick it up. They just, same thing, can't really keep the puck out of the net, but again, they picked it up from where they were at the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a pretty busy week. Obviously, I mean,
Mhm.
lots of games. Frozen Frenzy was on Tuesday, and that event didn't really care for the league. Didn't really advertise it very well. Personally, I think you don't put it on a weeknight. You put it on a weekend.
Yeah.
Obviously, now it's harder with the World Series, especially and the NBA being back. I think they should have done it on a Saturday. I mean that.
Yeah.
Who in their right minds? If you're working at till 6, 7 p.m. You've missed a few games already because the game started at 5.
Yeah.
That's pretty wacky, but regardless, the third most goals in a day scored in the NHL's history, 109 were scored, highest in Frozen Frenzy history, the third one that they've done. But
Mhm.
fun event regardless. I mean, brought all the fans to watch the games. Some pretty good matchups in there too. But yeah, I feel like this week was pretty fun. We'll see what happens in the next 7 days or so, and see what
Mhm.
shakes up. We'll see what standing adjustments are made. Obviously, we come on here every week to do our show. You can catch it on YouTube, here on Facebook. We do the reposts on Facebook of stuff that's going on around the league. Dad does his post game TikToks. I kind of just do mine every week or two to recap because it's harder for me to do it every night sometimes. So dad's good about his. I'm not as good about mine. We can catch him there. We'll be as the season goes on, maybe doing some other stuff like checking in at the halfway mark,
Mhm.
seeing where we feel like the playoff picture is going to be. Maybe talking about deals, trades, whatever. 'Cause trade deadline will be coming up before we know it. All
Yeah,
star
there's a lot
or the
there's a lot
Olympics.
coming up that we're gonna be
Yeah,
diving into, and then you get into the Stanley Cup playoffs, and we're gonna be on every night.
every night.
Every night.
Yeah,
So another great stuff, Car. We're gonna be back next again. We're trying to come up with a
it's kind of
time.
been difficult, but we'll come up with the concrete time and day that we'll be
Yeah,
doing it.
we'll come up with a time. It will stay natural. We'll figure this out. But in the meantime, just check us on Facebook, check us on YouTube,
Yep,
and you'll know when especially on Facebook, when we're going to be going live. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Best Boy Center Ice Podcast on YouTube. You
yep.
can message both of us through Facebook, and you can also get us through TikTok as well. So yeah, like Carson said, big week coming up, and tonight both of our teams are in action. I think the Penguins
Just started
just started, and the Oilers are starting about
an hour.
an
An
hour from
hour.
now. So it's just our favorite time of the year, our favorite thing to do.
Yep.
And Carson, you and again, a great job. Like I said, and I say this every show, best analyst I've ever heard or seen is the guy to my right
Way
over
to
here.
pump my tires.
And he knows this stuff. And if you want to have us talk about your favorite team, whether it's Colorado, New York, Washington, even you want us to talk about it, well, you got to come out and you got to join us on Facebook. You got to join us on YouTube, and we'll talk. We'll just love talking hockey. It doesn't matter who we're talking about. All right, so this will be up on both the replays on YouTube and Facebook in a little while.
Yep.
And as Carson's favorite time right now, he'll shake his head like this, but I know he loves it. In the meantime, and in between time, everybody have a great hockey night.
Oh my goodness.